Frank, I was with another man for 2 years, and I loved him deeply as his wife.
I've been thinking a lot about how Outlander Blood of My Blood could tie into Outlander Season 8, especially now that the prequel's first season has wrapped up. Because if there's one thing this universe does best, it's weaving emotional, time-bending connections between generations. And since Blood of My Blood introduced a bunch of familiar faces in their younger years, along with some unexpected twists, it's starting to look like the prequel might hold the keys to some of Outlander's biggest unanswered questions. So, with Outlander Season 8 coming soon, let's dive into what all this could mean for Jamie, Claire, and everyone else. But before we go any further, here's your spoiler warning for Outlander Blood of My Blood. Now, let's dive into it and talk about Season 8. The prequel gave us something fans didn't realize how much they missed: the return of Murtagh Fitzgibbons and Jocasta McKenzie. These two were never romantically linked in Diana Gabaldon's books, but the show created a unique bond between them that fans really grew attached to. Blood of My Blood brought back younger versions of these characters, played by Rory Alexander and Sadib Malin. And even though it's not the same actors, the chemistry is still there. You can see hints of what's to come, a spark that feels destined even though they haven't officially fallen for each other yet. Seeing them again reminded fans why they were such a standout couple in the main series, even if their story never existed in the novels. Sure, Murtagh's gone by the events of Outlander Season 8, he died back in Season 5, but this franchise has never let something like death stand in its way. After all, this is a story built on time travel, where past and present constantly collide. So even though Murtagh's technically dead, there's still hope we could see him and Jocasta again, perhaps through flashbacks or time-crossing moments that bring everything full circle. It wouldn't be the first time Outlander rewrote its own rules for fan favorites. Murtagh was actually supposed to die way earlier, at the Battle of Culloden in the books, but Duncan Lacroix's portrayal made him too beloved to lose. Because of that creative change, his entire romance with Jocasta even became possible in the first place. So, if the writers were willing to bend history then, who's to say they won't do it again in the show's final season? Blood of My Blood itself ended on an intriguing note, setting up plenty of possibilities. The prequel followed two main love stories, one between Jamie's parents, Brian Fraser and Ellen McKenzie, and the other between Claire's parents, Henry and Julia Beauchamp. In a surprising twist, it turns out these couples actually knew each other, something completely new to the Outlander lore. Across the season's 10 episodes, both pairs fought against their families and circumstances just to be together. By the finale, they finally seemed to succeed, but the ending hinted that their peace might not last long. For Brian and Ellen, their story left off with a powerful image: flaming crosses lighting up the Scottish hills, signaling the start of the Jacobite uprising. They'd just escaped all the family drama and seemed ready to start their life together, but the rebellion changed everything. We already know their love will survive long enough for them to build Lallybrook, but before that happens, the war will definitely pull them apart again. The Outlander saga thrives on that kind of bittersweet tension, love constantly tested by time and conflict, and their story in Blood of My Blood is no exception. Then there's Henry and Julia Beauchamp, whose ending might connect directly to Outlander Season 8. Their finale centered on their desperate attempt to travel through the stones at Cray Nadun with their infant son, William. The big question left hanging was whether William could time travel at all. Henry suspected that the ability might be genetic, which made sense since both he and Julia could do it. And technically, William has already traveled once, since Julia was pregnant with him when she crossed the stones. But as every fan knows, time travel in Outlander isn't always predictable. Their plan was heartbreaking but practical. One of them would try to take William through the stones while the other stayed behind, just in case. But when danger closed in, Henry made a split-second decision, grabbing Julia's hand and forcing both of them, and their baby, to touch the stone together. That's where Blood of My Blood ended, leaving us to wonder where and when they actually landed. We already know one thing for certain: they won't end up with a young Claire, because Outlander established long ago that she grew up without her parents. So something tragic or mysterious has to happen. Either William gets left behind, or the family lands in a completely different era. That uncertainty is what makes their story so compelling, and potentially crucial for what's coming next. Because here's where things get interesting. The prequel might actually tie into the Faith Fraser mystery from Outlander Season 7. If you remember, that season ended with Claire and Jamie reeling over the possibility that their first daughter, Faith, might have somehow survived. It was a shocking twist, since Faith's death had been one of the most emotional moments of the early series. But then, in Blood of My Blood, Julia Beauchamp sings "I Do Like to Be Beside the Seaside" to baby William, the exact same song that Fanny Pocock sang in Season 7, which first made Claire suspect that Faith was alive. That's too specific to be a coincidence. It feels like the writers are connecting these two storylines, possibly suggesting that the Beauchamps' time travel could tie directly into Faith's mystery fate. Maybe the show will reveal that Faith's survival is somehow linked to Julia and Henry's journey through the stones. It's all speculation for now, but that little musical connection hints that the two timelines are more intertwined than we thought. So, how does all of this connect to Outlander Season 8? Well, the newly released trailer gave fans a lot to think about. Starz dropped it at San Diego Comic-Con, confirming that the final season will arrive in early 2026. The teaser starts by taking us through Jamie and Claire's journey so far, their first meeting, their adventures across continents, and all the heartbreak they've endured. It feels like a goodbye letter to the fans, showing just how far the two have come. But in the final moments, we get glimpses of the new season. Jamie and Claire are older now, their hair gray, their faces marked by time, but their bond just as strong. They're back at Fraser's Ridge, joined by Brianna, Roger, and their children. And that's when the trailer drops its biggest reveal, Jamie sitting in bed reading a book written by historian Frank Randall. In that moment, he tells Claire that Frank's writings mention how the Revolutionary War affected the backcountry, specifically Fraser's Ridge, and that the ridge's namesake, James Fraser, died in the war. That revelation ties directly to Diana Gabaldon's 9th novel, Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone, where Frank's book plays a major role. This storyline was completely ignored in Season 7, which made fans nervous that the show might skip it entirely. But the trailer confirms that the writers are finally bringing it to the forefront. In the books, Brianna finds a letter from Frank hidden in that same book, revealing that bafflingly beautiful details that makes Outlander what it is: love, time, and destiny all colliding. However, the trailer completely leaves out the faith twist, which is strange given how Season 7 ended. You'd think they'd at least tease it a bit, maybe show Claire searching for answers or hinting at how Faith's survival could even be possible. But instead, Starz focused entirely on the Jamie's recorded death storyline. That choice could mean they're saving the Faith mystery for later, or it could suggest that both plot lines will somehow merge as the final season unfolds. Outlander Season 8 faces a huge challenge with only 10 episodes to wrap up years of storylines. Jamie and Claire need closure, along with Brianna, Roger, Ian, Rachel, Lord John, and William. The season must balance two major mysteries, Faith's fate and Jamie's recorded death, while connecting Blood of My Blood's threads like Henry and Julia's time travel and Frank's revelation. If done well, it could create an emotional full-circle ending that ties generations together. But with so much to cover, pacing will be critical. If the writers succeed, Season 8 could be Outlander's most powerful chapter yet. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.